all of us, you have something about you that is really profoundly unique and radiantly special. And it only exists within you. And when you allow yourself to come from this place naturally within you, it aligns you with the correct response to every situation in your life. So what that looks like in everyday terms is when you bump into a challenge or you face something that you, from coming from your mind, don't know what to do, don't know how to move through with grace and ease and flow. There's like a shock or a trauma or something that happens and you don't know what to do. When you step back into that innocent awareness that you are within the center of your being, that sees and knows beyond what is seeming to happen on the surface, that's seeming to occur all around you. There is this point at which this alignment happens and you become the solution. By you being you and breathing and being, you are able to move mountains. You are able to change anything. There is no limitation that is too large for you showing up as you. And I can talk about this from my own personal experience of something that happened where my own daughter broke her arm really bad. It was a radial head fracture on her right arm, right at the base of the elbow. And when this fracture happened, she had fallen off. I'm at the top of this, we're in this huge field. And all of a sudden, she goes running, chasing after the ball, and she disappears. And she had fallen off an 8-foot retaining wall. It was excruciating. I didn't want to run down to see what happened because I was scared to death. But of course, I ran instantly, like any mother would. Got there, jumped down over top of her, scooped her up into my arms, and looked at her and knew she had, her elbow was the size of a large grapefruit. Her shoulder was out of the socket. She was in excruciating pain, but thank you, God, she didn't land on concrete. And she braced herself with her fall, and it just broke this and dislocated her shoulder. But it was, compared to what could have happened, this was nothing. And so I scooped her up and brought her to the emergency room knowing that she had a broken arm. And we're having to wait in the emergency room, and I'm just holding her. And they came and got the x-rays. In the x-rays, they showed that we needed surgery because it was such a big break and there was such a separation between the bones that it was going to be required for her to have pins put in it. And so they were talking to the pediatric ortho doc at St. Luke's Hospital in Chesterfield, Missouri. And we're like conferencing back and forth. And the next thing you know, the Dr. Cook, who was the doctor, the pediatric ortho doc, said, listen, I need a couple of other views to see this, at a deeper level so that I know how much time I need to spend in the OR to reserve the room. So they bring us back into the room to x-ray us about 45 minutes later. And what was really interesting is in the time between the first x-ray and the second x-ray, we were back in our room and I was just holding her in my arms and she passed out. And I thought, possibly she had passed out from the pain, but I was working with her. I was being love with her, seeing the innocence of the entirety of the situation without judgment, without fear, without pushing or trying or, trying to find some technique to enlist in the moment to do something or make something happen. I didn't freak out. I was present. And as I was present, being me, her arm was healed. instantly. So we went back, 45 minutes later, they take us back into the x-ray room, and there was no break. They couldn't find the break. And the doctors were like, what in the world? And so they were x-raying her other arm. And they couldn't find the break anywhere. And it was just unbelievable because it was a miracle. It was a true miracle. And see, that's what we're all meant to do and be every day. Because situations are going to show up and they're going to knock you off of your daily life and your way of being in the world. And there's an opportunity in that moment to realign with who you really are, which is this being of love who has the right response to every situation innately within you. And that's where miracles happen.